Hi, my name is Lauren Merritt. I'm with the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, and this is your weekly weather briefing for the week of April 20th, 2017. So today's briefing, a little bit of an overview. We'll start discussing the warm start to spring that we've had, take a look at current conditions and the forecast for today, then take a look at the rest of the rain and thunderstorm chances this week, talk about the potential for severe weather on Saturday into Saturday night. Then we'll look at the 7-day outlook as far as temperatures and rainfall totals, and then talk about the latest drought information. So now let's get into the warm start to spring so far. Here I have March and April daily temperatures for the Atlanta area. The one thing to note is as we got towards the end of March and into mid-April, we've seen much above average temperatures. We did see a cold snap in the beginning of March, around the second week in March, but overall we've definitely had some really warm temperatures and a very warm start to this spring. So taking a look at today's forecast, on the left-hand side we have our high temperatures across the area. We can see we're in the 70s and 80s across most of the state, and as you move closer to central Georgia, getting into the mid to upper 80s. Looking at tonight's overnight lows, on the right-hand side of the page, we see we're in the 50s and 60s across the majority of the state. Overall, these highs and lows are about 5 to 10 degrees above average for this time of year. So let's get into today's rain chances. On the left-hand side, we have our chance for precipitation for this afternoon. We're in the 20s and 30s across the northern portion of the state. On the right-hand side, we have the Storm Prediction Center severe weather outlook, and that same area is highlighted in the general thunder region. So if there's anything to develop, it is possible to see some thunderstorms out there. Taking a look at the chances for precipitation on Friday, on the left-hand side again, we have that chance for precipitation. Across far northern Georgia, we're in the close to 50% range, and then it decreases as you move further south of the metro Atlanta area. On the right-hand side, we have the Storm Prediction Center severe weather outlook again. Much of the area that does have chances for precipitation are in the general thunder area, but there is a very far north portion of Georgia who is in that marginal risk area. So on Friday, that portion could see some thunderstorms that could be strong and the potential for isolated severe thunderstorms as well. So now getting into Saturday and Saturday night's forecasted precipitation. On the left-hand side here, I have one of the models that we look at just showing the precipitation coverage for the state. And we are looking at the potential for severe weather for this storm, but the best chances for thunderstorms will be late Saturday afternoon and into Saturday night. And then we're expecting the system to push its way from the northwest to the southeast through Sunday. On the right-hand side, we have the forecasted rainfall amounts, closer to an inch in the northwestern corner of the state and closer to half an inch or less just about everywhere else. So we can kind of break down these rainfall totals a little bit more. On the left-hand side, we have the totals for Saturday's rainfall, which are verging closer to an inch in the northwestern corner. And then looking at Sunday's rainfall as that system and cold front is pushing through the state, we're looking at closer to around half an inch to less than a half an inch for the rest of the areas. So with this Saturday night system, we are looking at the potential for severe weather. So here we have a graphic from our front page, which we will update as time goes on and moves closer to Saturday. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center has us in a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms late Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. So we could see isolated severe storms and also strong thunderstorms. The primary hazards with any of those storms will be damaging winds, large hail, and frequent lightning, and the rest of the areas in the general thunder region. So here we're going to take a look at the 7-day outlook as far as temperatures go. I have Blairsville on top, Atlanta in the middle, and Macon on the bottom, kind of a north to south approach for the temperatures. The beginning of the next few days will be warm as it has been. We'll see a cool down on Sunday and Saturday as that cold front approaches and passes through. But then the beginning of next week looks like we're going to warm back up again. So again, back to above average temperatures. So lastly, we're going to take a look at the weekly drought monitor. On the left-hand side, we have the drought monitor. We do still have extreme drought in portions of northern Georgia, and we did start to have drought in some other portions. On the right-hand side, the 1-week change graphic, I'm not sure if it shows up for anyone else. I'm having some issues getting that loaded in here. But really, there has been no change since last week in the drought. The only change is that there's been a worsening of the drought in central Georgia, which gave us that D1 intensity level that you can see on the left-hand side. So now the summary to go over what we talked about. We looked at March and April and how they've been above average for the most part and how that will continue through this week. We took a look at the scattered chances for rainfall over the next few days and looked at the total rainfall forecast, which was nearing around a half an inch to an inch across the state. We talked about the potential for severe weather on Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, where our main threats are damaging winds, large hail, and frequent lightning. We then took a look at the temperatures and how they're generally going to be above average through the rest of the week, except for that cool down after we get the cold front to pass through on Sunday. And besides that, there hasn't really been much change in the drought conditions, except for in portions of central Georgia, where the drought has worsened.